I don't know his history. This was news to me when I read those articles, so I was a little bit surprised. But, a couple things here. Like, I get it. Again, there's concern about voter fraud in Georgia. There's concern about Republicans abandoning Trump in this very important time. A lot of them are very silent. A lot of them are quick to call Biden president-elect when the election hasn't been certified. When we have all of these hearings going on in these battleground states, and we're learning so much about the people who were there on election night and what they experienced. And there are some things that are very alarming. It's very abnormal what was going on. And so for people to say that there's no such thing as voter fraud, we've seen so many examples of it. And for those who say that, they're just looking the other way because they don't want to see it.
Yeah, and let me give you an example. I'm glad. I tweeted earlier about mail-in votes is destroying our nation. I said this early on when the quote pandemic quote, they weaponize it and use it to the fear factor to spook people into, oh, we'll just mail your ballots. Let me give you a point. This morning, I opened up the mail from last night. My mother has been dead for 4 years, Stephanie. We get an absentee ballot mailed to her. So it gets real when it hits you at home and you see like, what in the world is going on? And so now it hits home. It's your home now. And you hear it from neighbors and friends and people from all over. Listen, I'm a voice and know people from all over the country, and everybody's not lying. And there's no accountability. There is no, quote, chain of custodies. I've said this from day one. There's absolutely no supervision of chain of custodies on these mail-in ballots, especially authenticating the signature on the envelope as well as inside. And even if they're even eligible to vote or even legally eligible to vote, Stephanie, this is serious. And listen, this could be on the Democrats' back, too. This is not good for the country at all. The world is watching everything we're doing right now. We put people on the moon. You have to have a Social Security card. You have to have a driver's license. You have to have all types of identification to go cash in your lottery ticket. My God, can we at least come up with a comprehensive, strong voter ID so we can eliminate this craziness and this chaos that's destroying our nation?
Yeah, it's rather curious. You need an ID for everything. But for voting, oh, you know what? You don't really need it. And so, we've seen the Democrats over the years just kind of chipping away at the voting process. And it's like they don't really care for secure elections. But as for Georgia, I mean, you've been there a long time. You know Georgians very well. Are you surprised? I mean, the fact that it could become a blue state if the Republicans don't fight hard enough?
Yeah, well, I've been here 30 years. Actually, it was a chairman in the GOP here 10 years ago. I have a pulse for it. Business here for 27 years, Stephanie. Yeah, I'm surprised. But I'm not so surprised the fact that, listen, there's a cost of being #1 place to do business in the country. There's a cost for having the largest airport in the free world. There's a cost to having a crane up on every corner, and the movement and the mobility that we have here in terms of development that's just spurring left and right brings people from all over the country that want to do business here in Atlanta. And I will tell you, we have had a huge influx of West Coast folks moving in and people from New York moving down, bringing those blue ideologies down here. So, yeah, it does challenge the conservative movement that we've had here in Georgia, has made us successful. And I've always said, and this gets back to Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue, they both are good business people. And we've had a great business plan, per se, in the Trump administration: low black unemployment, low unemployment, record stock market. You saw how we were rebounding and doing very well in our negotiations with NAFTA and trade. So these are tools that have worked and been proven in our conservative state. Please don't go in there and unravel. Listen, they always say numbers don't lie, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm very optimistic that Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue will prevail, because people will look at their numbers and look at their checkbooks like, wow, this is working. Opportunity zones, very strong, especially in black communities, 39+% here in Georgia. And they're looking at how we were very strong in prison reform and all the things that affected and helped Black America, especially the business uptick and minority business, which is the fastest in Atlanta. And so these things are looking at. So it's going to be a challenge for the Dems to reach into that. And my prayer is that we get all this stuff together in terms of authenticating the voter as we go to January 5th and make it safe, strong, sound, and legal as we go into January 5th.
Yeah. Well said, Bruce. We're going to have to leave it here. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me.